you are in need of a good laugh, I have something to show you that will probably make you laugh at me. Hello, and welcome back to my channel, Kalliolla. Kalliolla means on the waves. My name is Reetta. I am a knitter from Finland, and this is my knitting podcast. You might be wondering, what is she holding? And this is my microphone. So this is a very DIY solution now, because it has come to my attention that the sound in my videos has been very silent, so it has been difficult to watch, and especially when the ads come up in the middle of the video, if you have to turn up the volume when you're watching me talk, and then an ad pops up and the sound is very loud. So I have these wired headphones like these, and because I thought that if I'm just holding on the mic or the wire, there will be distracting noises from the wire moving around. So I took these, what are these called? Laundry snips and a double pointed needle. So they are holding the wire in place, and now I can hold it like this, and I guess a DIY solution like this is acceptable because this is a DIY channel, a knitting channel. So let's hope the sound is better now with this. I have a regular podcast episode for you today. I have a couple of finished objects, a few works in progress, some of which you have seen if you have been around here before, and some are new. And then I have, if you are in need of a good laugh, I have something to show you that will probably make you laugh at me. Maybe a little cheer up for your day. And that will be in my finished objects. So let's just start. The first finished object I have is the weekend hat by PetiteKnit. I struggled with this one. I started this beanie I think 4 times or 5 times. I frogged it and started it again. First I tried to knit from the top down, but then I ended up switching and knitting from the brim up, and then I needed to change the size I was knitting because it was turning up way too small for me. I haven't actually measured my gauge, so I don't know if I have just a very large head, which I do have. I have quite a big head, but is it that big, or is my gauge just very off? Maybe I could have saved myself some trouble if I would have just needed a gauge watch for this. But do you need gauge watches for beanies? Because I don't. And now I think, should I? Am I a bad knitter for not doing it? Because this is the PetiteKnit weekend hat, comes in several sizes, and this is the largest size, which is kind of the male size, and I think this fits quite snugly on my head. It's not too it's quite tight, not uncomfortable, but it's definitely not loose on my head. So maybe I have a large male head. This is knit with Sadness Garn Double Sunday in the color Whipped Cream, which is one of the PetiteKnit colorways. And, whoops, I haven't woven in all the ends. Also the color Almond, because this was all of the Whipped Cream colorway I had. I used literally, I think I had 10 centimeters left when I bound off. Really successful in that regard, but I hid some of this almond colorway, which I also have left over from my Do Knit sweater. So I hid it inside the brim, so I cast it on with that one and then knitted a section, then changed to the main color and then again a stripe with the almond. Ta-da! No one will know. I think that worked out really good, so I'm happy that I got a nice white beanie out of the leftovers I had. The pattern is just a 1x1 rib, and I really like these decreases. Here at the top there is like 3 of the knit stitches on each like stripe where you do the decreases, or lines maybe I should say. I think they look pretty neat and cute. I worked mine maybe a little bit shorter than the pattern suggested because I don't like having too much of that looseness on my head. This is not like going like straight. Oh, my ring caught. Got stuck on my hair. Okay, I won't be touching my head. So it's not like sitting right on top of my head. It has a little bit of room there, but not too much. And then the pattern has some tubular rows, no, double knitted rounds at the folds of the brim. But I looked at the pictures and I think you can kind of see where the double knitted rounds are. And I thought that, well, with blocking and steaming this with the brim like folded, it will stay in place like that. And I think it worked well. So I didn't do anything when I knitted the hat before the decreases. Of course I did these stripes, but I just knitted a 1x1 knitted ribbed tube. And I did do the tubular cast on, which you can't see because of the fold. So the cast on is there on the inside, but I think it's nice and stretchy and I like doing it. I don't think it's like extra trouble. Really nice. I can really recommend this beanie pattern. It's pretty basic. If you have knitted things before, you probably could freehand a beanie like this. It's very straightforward. I like PetiteKnit's writing style and I just wanted something where I could just follow a pattern and not think about it. So that was perfect for that. The next finished object is also an accessory where I just followed a pattern. So another very relaxing knit. And it is this huge, fluffy, gorgeous scarf with these very fluffy fringes. So this is a scarf pattern by Novita, and the yarn is their Atelier yarn, which was wool and mohair blend, a very chunky yarn. I got the yarn and the pattern as a PR gift from Novita, so thank you for that. And the pattern was very straightforward, this like structured, textured fabric, which was created with just knit stitches and some slipped stitches. Very easy, very mindless to knit, and it was easy to read the fabric, like so that you knew on which side you were on, like what you were supposed to do. So I didn't have to keep count of the rows I was doing. It was a 2-row repeat, so it was super easy. And then these cute tassels. Mine is, I think, over 2 meters long. The pattern was the pattern suggested to knit it to about 180 centimeters, but actually I knit this by accident longer because I just kept on knitting as long as I had the yarn, and I didn't even realize to check the length. But at least I used up all the yarn they had sent me, and I got this very cozy scarf. So that's nice. I've been using this a few times already and I love it. And usually mohair is quite itchy on me, or I find mohair very itchy. But this is okay around my face. And like I said before when I talked about this, I don't think I would like to use this yarn in a garment because of the mohair content. I never use mohair in my garments because that itches me and makes me really sweaty and uncomfortable. So I wouldn't use this either, but wrapped loosely around my neck, I don't feel a problem there. And I really like the yarn because you could, or I did, and it was suggested that you brush the finished fabric so that the fluff really fluffs up. And I think it turned out really cute and very nice. I obviously chose the white color, and it is leaning a little pinkish, compared to my shirt, which is a very pure white. What is it? A white, and then my overalls, which are an off-white color. So this is quite a pinkish white, and I like it, but it might not be my favorite shade of white because I consider myself quite a warm toned person. My skin is a fair and light, but kind of olivey shade, yellow undertones. So I think this brings maybe a little bit of redness to the surface. I don't know, I think it's a little bit clashing for my colors. I don't know, maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Anyways, I like the scarf and I have used it and will definitely keep on using it because especially now that we have moved to this small coastal town from the bigger city, this is very, very windy place because we are at the southernmost tip of Finland and the sea is all around here. So I love it, but it's very windy. And now for the fun, or the part where you probably will laugh at me. And it has to do with the move and the coldness, because we are living right now in a very old, this is 100-year-old wooden house. We are renting a part of it and I absolutely adore this. This has so much character and it's my dream home right now. I love it. And the ceiling is very high up and the floorboards are squeaking, but we, for example, have really old windows and, well, the cold air kind of gets in here. This apartment is pretty chilly and the floors are very cold and I don't mind it. I like coldness, and it is not freezing, of course, it's inside temperatures, but on the colder side you have to really wear woolen socks because otherwise my toes would be freezing here, and I don't mind it. I love knitted socks and now I can wear my knits and I'm comfortable like this also, and I like sleeping in the cold. I'm very nice and warm under the blankets. But I've had this issue for years that the tip of my nose is freezing. Like I said, it's been I've had it for years, and sometimes when we're, for example, watching the TV, like in our old place as well, and I'm knitting, I asked my fiance to have his fingers here on top of my nose, because right the tip here is freezing and it feels so uncomfortable. So now that the climate temperature in our house is lower, or it feels colder, and it's colder to sleep, my nose is freezing. And I can't like get my nose under the blankets, because then I feel like I can't breathe when my mouth and nose are under there. I have this heated oat pillow I sometimes heat and take under the blankets with me, so I tried to press my nose against it, but nothing really works, and it really affects my sleeping. I can't fall asleep when my nose is cold, because it's almost like hurting. So I've been joking for years that maybe I should just knit a tiny beanie for my nose. And that's what I did. But, well, not exactly. This is not a beanie, and I crocheted it last night, because the night before I was awake for hours and I could not sleep because of the nose. Maybe because of other things as well, but the freezing nose wasn't helping. So I made myself a nose warmer. Look at it. I named him Bernard the Sleep Sheep. And as you can see, it's a sheep. I embroidered him a face and some curls on top of his head. And well, I have makeup on right now, and I don't want to get Bernard dirty, but I can just put him here and these things around my ears. I can put a picture of me when I woke up this morning and I was wearing this, and it does not cover like my nostrils, so I can breathe freely with this. So it sits like right on the top of my nose, like right at the tip, so it keeps it warm. And it was so nice to go to sleep yesterday or last night with that on. So I'm embracing it. If you have cold nose, make yourself a sleep sheep. Do you want to pattern for this? Oh, I don't know if you find this funny, but I find this hilarious. And I'm just going to embrace this. And I don't know why. I love sheep, and I had this white yarn, and I don't know. I just wanted to make myself a sleep pal. If I were to make something, might as well do a cute little sheep. A finished object, a very important one, might I add. For the works in progress, I have 2 sweaters and a pair of pants. Let's start with the sweater, the first sweater, which is this. I'm calling this the Kalliolla, so on the rocks, or on the. If I say on the rocks, it like sounds like a beverage. I don't know, you know, on the cliffs maybe. And here is the first finished sleeve. it has these flowers and these pearl rows and quite a wide sleeve with a 2x2 zip. This yarn is Drops Daisy, and I've really been enjoying working with it. It's my first time working with Drops Daisy, and I have really enjoyed it. I am so happy how this sleeve has turned out. It's so cute, and the inspiration for this was flowers that are growing between the rocks by the sea, where the sea is raging and the wind is blowing and the waves are crashing, but those tiny flowers are just blooming there. So that was my inspiration for this, and I have the first sleeve ready and the cuff for the other sleeve. These circular needles are my mom's, and I tried to knit with these, but I will change back to my wooden circulars and magic loop, because first of all, these metal needles, I find them just too slippery. I don't like working with metal needles. And then this small circumference, I like the idea that you could just knit in the round and wouldn't have to like change the needle like what you have to do when you're doing magic loop, or like, you know, do anything with the cables. But I find this so difficult to hold on to the needles because they are so short. I just don't like it. I don't know if I would like this smaller circumference with a wooden needle. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not ready to try it out yet. I don't want to buy a small circumference wooden needle when I'm perfectly happy with doing magic loop. It is now staying on the needles for now when I'm working on the body, and I have just split here for the front and the back. This is, as you can see, knit from the bottom up. Usually I like knitting sweaters from the top down, but because of the design here, I want the flowers to be like this way and not this way. So that's why I have to knit it bottom up, so that the flowers are the right way around, or the way I want them to be for this design. And it's been okay to work bottom up, and it's a fun change. The body is just plain stockinette and the same wide rib. It's quite like scrunching up the rib at the bottom, but I am sure that when I block it, it will be like more straight and not create like this balloony effect. And then I want to show you the fun little detail. There is a one tiny flower here at the hemline, just one, so I think it ties nicely then together with the sleeves, and is like that little intentional detail that you might not notice, but when you're knitting it, you know that it's there. And I'm working on this with 4mm needle, and I think the fabric looks pretty nice. And yeah, I have just a few centimeters here, both on the front and the back. This is the underarm. My goal is to work on that now so that I can get the shaping for the neck done, and then work the other sleeve and then attach the sleeves to the body. I'm still not sure what I want to do. Do I want to like Kitchener stitch, or will I bind off these sleeve stitches and then seam them like in a regular way? I'm not sure yet. Maybe if you have a preference, let me know. So my plan is to write a pattern out of that one. But as you may know, I have been struggling with the pattern writing and getting stuff done. And I'm still struggling with the simpukka sweater. Even though I have help for it, we're struggling together. It's been difficult with the grading and the sizing for it. It looks so simple, but the shell motif in the middle has caused some problems. And now I have these cute shell swatches in different sizes, and I think we're not going to use the smallest one because the size difference is pretty huge, but I am in love with this small shell and I'm already dreaming of a sweater with small tiny shells. Okay, that was sidetracked because I'm not working on the simpukka sweater right now. I'm just working on the pattern. Then the pants. I actually have a video I posted last week of me talking through my decision-making process when deciding to knit the pants and then casting on. And now I have this much done. So the pattern I'm using for these pants is Copenhagen Pants by Milena Pauliina, who is a fellow Finn, and I love her designs. She has so fun and creative designs. And the Copenhagen Pants are knit in like this shimmery, glittery yarn, and they have this super cute frill at the bottom. I'm using a regular wool yarn, so no glitter here, but I liked the fit of the pants, so I decided to use that pattern. I am not 100% sure will I do the frill at the bottom of the pants or not. That will be a thing for the future me to decide. So I am holding this DK sock yarn. I have the ball somewhere. This is a Finnish brand Tete, and this is their, was it Salla? Pallas? I will put a picture of the yarn here, but this brown yarn, which was 80% wool and 20% polyamide, and these are the pants. There is this elastic band here in the waist, so this is like double folded and it has an elastic in there. And then, okay, maybe this is something I will film a clip and put here, and I will just talk without trying to show you the pants, like holding them up. So I really like the waistband here. It was knitted in the round and then folded double, and it has this pearl edge here. So I really liked how polished it looks, and the increases look very nice, I think. So I hope these will be a good pair of woolen pants for me. The yarn was a very budget-friendly option, so these didn't really cost me that much. One ball was like €1.30 or something, and I sized down with the needles. I'm using a 5mm needle. The pattern calls for a 6mm, and I'm getting a quite nice and dense gauge, a bit denser than I would go for example, sweaters, but I want to make sure that my pants are as not see-through as possible, and because pants are quite a large and heavy garment, they will stretch out. So I think the tighter gauge will help them to keep their shape a little bit. That is a nice little project where I don't have to think too much because the increases are quite simple and the pattern is very well written. And then when I get to the legs, there is just endless stockinette in the round, like tubes. I think that will be like my mindless project to have on the side. And I like that I can just follow a pattern there as well. And then for my last whip, which is also a sweater, I showed you on my last knitting podcast, I showed you this guy. It's now off the needles. I haven't frogged it yet, but I think I will. This was a raglan, or is a raglan sweater, or start of a sweater with this like classic fisherman Icelander motif. But now I have casted on another version of that idea and I think it's working out so much better. So I decided to not use a raglan construction and I started to think that maybe this could work better. I can't speak, I'm sorry. Better with a circular yoke. And last night I decided that I will just try it. I will just cast on and knit a little bit. And what do you know? I'm halfway through the yoke. And now I have it on 2 needles because I'm using a 4.5 for the Colorwork and then a 4mm for the stockinette parts, and I'm just in the middle of the round and I was trying it on like this, so it was easier and I thought that it will be easier to show you as well, so that's why I didn't finish knitting the round. I made slight changes for the motif, so it's a little bit of a different repeat here. I think it will show better when there is another stripe of the motif. I have just started the other stripe, so it will be a striped fisherman Icelander sweater, and the neckline is now just a crochet provisional cast on because I didn't decide yet. Do I want like a 1x1 or 2x1 or what do I want to do with the rib? So I made a crochet provisional cast on so that I can then just pick up these live stitches or like unravel the crocheted edge and do the neckline when I know what I want. And I used the red yarn for the crochet and I like that red contrast on the neck, so I think I might do like a ribbed neckline and then like the cast, if I do like an Italian bind off, I would do that in the red color maybe. This is going to be an oversized and very cozy sweater. This is also using Drops Daisy in the same white color as the flower sweater and then this gorgeous red, and I'm so enjoying using this red color. It's been so fun to use some color and have that pop of red, and I will put a video of me trying on this yoke because oh my god, I think the fit looks so nice right now. I'm so excited to see this grow because I have a very, very good feeling about this. And I think it looks so nice here on camera. I'm so excited. I've been so inspired to work on that color work but I want to prioritize the flower sleeve situation first because I want that to be done and that I can wear it, and I want to see the finished result. Does it match like the image of the sweater I have in my brain? I try to keep my hands off the Colorwork Sweater even though I'm so inspired and eager to work on it. And of course, knitting is my dear hobby and I do it for enjoyment and because I love that I can be creative and get my creativity like flowing. So I will allow myself to knit a little bit of that too, because where would the fun be if I wouldn't let myself to do that? But I do want to finish the flower one too. But to be honest, I don't like working on it right now because it's knitting flat back and forth, and somehow I find it right now very boring, and I don't know, I'm not really enjoying it, but I should just put some good podcast, or I've been watching Downton Abbey on Netflix. Maybe I will just binge watch a few episodes and then just mindlessly knit back and forth. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this sound was okay and I didn't look too ridiculous holding this situation here. Thank you so much for being here and supporting my dreams and spending some time with me. And until next time, happy knitting!